And welcome back. A beautiful night here in Tolona. Our Hickory River Smokehouse Saturday Night Rivals presented by Kirby Medical Center. We got a good one here to start the fourth quarter. 19-8. The Rockets lead the Spartans, and Bernard has his team on the move once again. Bernard holds it. Going to cross the 30-yard line here. Pick up about 5 yards, looking at about 3rd and 3 here as we get the fourth quarter going. So 19-8. Unity St. Joe Ogden. Adam, what have you seen so far from this one? So Eckstein there on the carry. 10:56 to go in the game. It's now 4th and 3 for Unity.
All right, it's going to be 4th and 3 here. Apologize about that, folks. Had a little technical difficulties there. I think we've got it worked out. Going to take a look at Colvin. He took a big hit on that last play. Colvin, a running back, but he is a defensive lineman for the Spartans.
I want to remind you that Saturday Night Rivals is available streaming live online. Log on to SaturdayNightRivals.com. You can also find complete game videos and photos from this season's game. 4th and 3, a big one here. And what a play. The swing pass. Out to his receiver, juggled it, picked it back up, the little circus act. He gets outside, and there we have another Illinois Pork Producers first down, and Unity is in the Illini Oil Change red zone.
Connor Hyde almost dropped that football. Just, got excited. I think the ball just kind of popped out as he was going to tuck it away, but that is a huge 4th down play for the Rockets.
Have you ever seen someone play football and juggle at the same time?
That would be very, very talented. And like I had mentioned a little bit ago, I don't know if you folks at home heard me, if Unity can get points on the board here, this could almost put this game out of reach. And there is a flag on the play. See what the flag is here. So it is going to be
10 yards from spot of the foul. Replay first down.
So another big penalty. Shoots the Rockets in their foot again, and that's going to set back this drive.
This is now the 4th drive that Unity has had the ball inside the red zone, and on a big play or a touchdown has been called back because of a penalty.
Yeah, it gets tighter. Everybody gets closer together. You get a little bit nervous when the field kind of shrinks. So you have to be careful. And just some bad penalties there for the Rockets. You really need to clean that up moving into the postseason.
So now 10-17 to go in the game. 1st and 20 all the way back to the 29-yard line. And Bernard here with the pass. That's going to fall incomplete.
Jake Rito on the incomplete pass. Had a step on his defender. Just I think the wind kind of took that away from Bernard.
With all these penalties, Coach Hamilton can look at this if he gets the W and says, hey, we were sloppy, we have to clean it up. But it can become a quick lesson that he's going to have to teach if it comes back to bite them and they end up losing.
Yeah, absolutely. And, again, St. Joe should feel a little bit lucky to still be in a good position that they're in.
So 2nd and 20. Bernard holds it.
Huge gain.
Gets back a big chunk of that yardage they lost on the penalty. So Bobby Bernard coming in and doing a great job leading this Rockets offense.
Just a simple read play, again, a staple of the Unity offense, and he makes the Spartans pay for it with about a 15-yard run right there.
And with that run, he finds himself back into the Illini Oil Change red zone. So now 3rd and 8 from the 13-yard line. Bernard there. The swing pass out to Connor Hyde.
That is going to be a first
picks
down.
it up, and he picks up another Illinois Pork Producers first down.
So again, Unity was down here before, and we're stopped short of the goal line. Let's see if St. Joe can come up with another big goal line stand.
And very frustrating for Skinner and his team, where you have those penalties bring them back. They're back to the 29-yard line, and then they find themselves right back inside the 5-yard line, and now here with another set of downs.
Yep, you got to teach your teams a little bit of toughness. They've played tough on the goal line. Let's see if it holds here.
Bernard here with the handoff to Eckstein. Eckstein will pick up a yard. So not only do they find themselves just continuing to drive and get in, but you see that clock. This drive started with 2 minutes to go in the third quarter, and now they're just watching it tick down, and it's down now to 9:07 in the game.
It looks like we got a St. Joe player down, but with time left, Coach Hamilton, they are a no-huddle kind of attack at a pretty fast pace. I'm sure he's well aware of the clock. He's going to take probably a little bit of time and just try to close this game off.
All right, so we have a player down, 2nd and 4 for Unity as they try to get back into the end zone, but stick with us. You're watching our Hickory River Saturday Night Rivals, presented by Kirby Medical Center. And welcome back to Hickory River Smokehouse Saturday Night Rivals, presented by Kirby Medical Center. Now we left because there was an injury on the field, and that would be the sophomore electric running back and defender for this team, Dwight Colvin, and he was just carried off. You see him there on the trainer's table. Not a good sight for St. Joe Ogden right now. And, of course, Hunter McKee, our 3rd member of our team, will be out there to find out exactly what's going on. But that is a break that you do not want to see if you're Sean Skinner.
That would be a huge blow to the St. Joe football team.
So on 2nd and goal.
Still going to be short, just a yard. So,
and now we'll go ahead and look at this. Or we're looking at where Colvin gets injured here. He makes a tackle. He's in on there. He's all over it. It just seems like everyone's sort of laid on him the wrong way.
He just got rolled up on it. Happens a lot in the game. So hopefully he's okay and it's nothing too serious.
All right, we're going to send it down to Hunter. He has an injury report for us. Hunter.
Thank you, Louie. As you saw, actually, you see, Unity just scored a touchdown to pull the lead. But as you saw, number 33, running back / defensive tackle for St. Joe was carried off the field there. From what I saw, we don't have an exact report, but he couldn't really move his right leg, so it looked pretty bad. Looks like he's going to be out the rest of this game, which is a big deal because he is a big-time running back and offensive player. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Hunter. Yeah, we definitely saw him holding his right leg. But while he was saying it, as we saw Eckstein into the end zone, that was another guy who went out with an injury. Comes back in, another big part of that drive. Rolls into the end zone. That makes it 25-8. And with this extra point, it's up. It's good. It's 26-8 Rockets here at home.
Yeah, with 8 minutes left in this game. It's going to be tight here for the Spartans to get back in it.
All right, Rockets up 26-8, 8:13 to go in the game. Get another look here of Dwight Colvin, the sophomore running back, defensive end, getting that ankle taped up. We'll see. Hopefully doesn't look as bad as we thought. But we'll be right back. 8:13 to go. Stick with us. We have a good one here in Tolono. You're watching Hickory River Saturday Night Rivals, presented by Kirby Medical Center. And welcome back to our Hickory River Smokehouse Saturday Night Rivals, presented by Kirby Medical Center. We're back here in the fourth quarter. 8:13 to go, and the Rockets with a 26-8 lead. And the way this is going, 26-8, it looks like the Rockets are inching very close. to hoisting that beautiful trophy right there.
Yeah, St. Joe has really got to change up what they do. Maybe look to get to the air a little bit earlier and make some big plays, but they've got some ground to make up with not a ton of time left.
See the wind blowing out there. So now 26-8. Hopefully they have Colvin back here for this drive, but St. Joe Ogden now at this point, it's all hands on deck and score as quick as possible. And Fritz was back there to receive it, brings it all the way back to the 34-yard line. So 1st and 10 from their own 34-yard line, and score. That's what they need to do, score and score fast.
It's simple as that. Get in the end zone and get as much time left on the clock as you can, because it is another enemy for you right now.
Give you a quick update here. In the bottom of the 6th, the Cubs are up on the Dodgers 3-1 in the bottom of the 6th, but right now they have a man on second with 2 outs.
So Colvin is up and on the sideline, moving around. So that is a good sign for St. Joe fans.
And right there with the pass to Bryce Hickey, again, wide open at the 40-yard line, and a 5-yard pickup on that one.
Yeah, just caught it with his knee down, so tough break because I thought he had some room to run. But a positive first down play, and it's what St. Joe needed more of here tonight.
All right, so moving fast here. Second one was a 9-yard pickup, right here in the shotgun. Being forced out of the pocket, throws it up, and finds his man.
Flag on the play. He came in from the sideline, and got to imagine this is going to be a hold.
We'll see what they call there. You see here Dwight Colvin, and you know where Dwight Colvin's standing, right behind Sean Skinner to let him know, hey, coach, I'm ready to go.
So it is going to set back the Spartans at 10 yards and negate the big play to Kuhn.
Illegal block below the waist on the offense. 15 yards
that's
from
actually
the
a
previous
15-yard
spot.
penalty.
Play second down.
So in high school football, you cannot block below the waist. That is legal in the college and the NFL game. Get a shot of the center here right in front of you. That cannot happen in high school football. That'll get called a lot.
And it was called there. So from 2nd and 1 to 2nd and 16, again, a big penalty negating a nice chunk of yards here. Just seemed to be on both sides, not just one side. Each side continuing to move the ball and being called back for penalties.
Yeah, it's been unusually sloppy is how I would describe the game here.
So now 2nd and 16, 7:20 to go here in the game, right out of the shotgun.
Another interception.
Another one picked off right there. Right into the hands of the Unity defender, C.J. Parks. And Parks is going to have this one swing the other way.
That ball kind of floated a little bit. If Parks wasn't going to pick it off, there was another Unity defender flying in from the defensive secondary that would have had a very good shot at taking that one too.
It seems like both of his passes that we've seen picked off have been the same exact way. It just seems to be in double coverage. His guys aren't really open, and there's guys around. And as you said, his balls seem to float a little bit more than they should, and it gives them some hang time, and the defender's able to get up there and make a play.
Yeah, you know, being down 26-8, maybe you're trying to do a little too much, and you make mistakes when you do that. So a tough break for St. Joe. Hopefully they can get a stop here and get back into this game.
And then here, Barnard with the pass. And that one off the fingertips of Connor Hyde. And again, that one lucky to not fall into one of the hands of St. Joe Ogden defensive backs.
Yes, Connor Hyde brings that one down, though, and he is walking into the end zone. The middle of the field was wide open there on that play.
All right, and don't forget on Monday, October 26th, watch the Supergirl season premiere at 7 p.m. right here on the CW, Channel 23. Bernard again here on the little pitch, and that one's not going to go anywhere. Might even lose a couple of yards.
Just an inside shovel pass there. So this drive has been pretty good so far here with St. Joe. Hopefully they can get off the field here on third down. I wouldn't be surprised to see a timeout here by Unity and just kind of let the clock wind down as much as possible.
Exactly. The clock is Scott Hamilton and the Unity Rockets' best friend right now. They're in no hurry to snap this ball. 6:20 and counting. A timeout call. 3rd and 14. Hamilton's going to talk this over, see what they need to do to pick up this important first down.
And really, with the way your defense has played here tonight, a simple run here and maybe you break one. If not, you could even quick kick it and just pin them deep and make them go 90-plus yards down the field.
All right, so let's take a look at our Longview Bank play of the game, and it happened on St. Joe Ogden's only touchdown drive. Here the pitch to Fritz, and then Fritz will find Mason Kuhn with the big play. So a little bit of trickery to get things going, but it worked for Sean Skinner and his Spartans.
Yep, you got to do what you got to do in big games to swing some momentum, and they definitely had it there, but it has gone back to the Rockets here.
There are a look at our Longview Bank play of the game. Nice look there at Mason Kuhn. This time on defense, and he'd love to have a second play of the game here by making a big play here and getting the ball back to his offense.
They can punch one loose or get an interception here.
Hand off there to Keaton Eckstein. Picks up a couple on that one. So now 4th and long for this Rocket offense. Exactly where St. Joe wants them to go. So 26-8. We're under that 6-minute mark. 4th and 13. What's Hamilton thinking here, Adam?
I think you just quick kick and punt it. If not, just an easy handoff to Keaton Eckstein. Don't want to do anything that might damage it, but it looks like they're going to get a free 5 yards here.
That hard count again gets St. Joe to
Previous
that hard count
we play 4th down
by Bernard gets St. Joe to jump, which it looked like it did the last time they tried that, but of course it was called on Unity. This time called on St. Joe, so now it cuts this to 4th and 8. But again, you'd have to imagine with a 26-8 lead, 5 minutes to go, if Bernard can maybe pin this inside the 5 or get this to go out of bounds and just a little pooch and then make St. Joe have to go the length of the field.
Yeah, so quick kick or even just a simple handoff to Eckstein. If he breaks it great. And now you're going to go back 5 more yards.
Foul, false start, offense, 5 yards from the previous spot, replay 4th down.
Maybe overthinking things here. He continues to go with the hard count, and he just keeps jumping his own guys off sides.
A little bit of frustration on his face there on the replay.
You have to imagine if Scott Hamilton wins this one, it's not going to be very pretty in that locker room.
No, it's not. But what's good for Coach Hamilton is they've burned more time off the clock with these 2 false start penalties.
That's it. In that very strange football way, all these penalties just continue to keep the ball in their hands. And this one blocked. The pooch kick is blocked by St. Joe Ogden. A big-time defensive play. They're 5. They're going to have it at midfield, but we do have a St. Joe Ogden player down here.
Yeah, he looks to be in a lot of pain. Hopefully he's okay there.
And he seemed to be the one to jump right on that punt. Thomas Weimer, the senior defensive end, read that one perfect. Great play by him. Now as he goes to fall on that ball, the big boy here jumps on him, seems to maybe even knock the wind out of him.
Again, great play by St. Joe to Unity takes chances with it's kind of a rugby style kick where your punter rolls out and then kicks it when he feels pressure. Almost needed to tell Bernard right there that you just got to kick it and get it out of your hands, because that was the absolute last thing that Coach Hamilton wanted to have happen.
So unfortunately, a player is down on that play, but if you're St. Joe Ogden, that was something maybe you needed. A big play like that. Get the ball here close to midfield. Cut the field in half and see if you can move the ball and get a quick touchdown.
Yeah, they got to do something to spark some interest. Again, you're down pretty much 3 scores right now.
Now Weimer's back on his feet. A good sight here as the fans here clap. He's limping off. His teammates there, Griffin Meeker is the one who blocked the punt by Barnard, helping his teammate off the field here. So when we resume play here, 4:53 to go in the game, St. Joe Ogden will take over, down 26-8 here in Tolono.
Yeah, let's see what Coach Skinner can dial up here for his offense. He needs to hit a big play, and he needs to hit it early so he can save himself as much time as possible.
All right, quickly, we'd like to thank Hickory River Smokehouse for sponsoring Saturday Night Rivals this season. There's nothing better than real Texas barbecue, and there's no better place in Central Illinois to get it. I'm not going to lie, they showed Connor Hyde kind of quick, and I thought he was on Instagram or something. I thought he had the little guy bring him his phone.
No, Huddle nowadays, Huddle goes right to the sideline, so they can make in-game adjustments just like any college or NFL program. So high school games getting more and more advanced as we go on.
Right there with the pass, and again finds Mason Kuhn wide open. Beautiful pitch and catch, and that's another Illinois pork producers first down.
But again, we have another late flag, and I think it's going to go against St. Joe.
Just been the story of the game here tonight. Anytime something positive happens, it continues to come back with penalties.
You know, I've been in these rivalry games where you're down and you're frustrated because not a lot's gone your way tonight, but you got to keep your head, you got to stay calm, and you got to do what you can to get back in this football game. And penalties like that definitely don't help, especially after a big first down play.
Dead ball. Personal foul against 33 red. Dead ball. Personal foul. 33-79. They both offset. This is after the play. First and 10 from there.
Okay, so after the play, so that is a first down and a big gain there for St. Joe Ogden.
And so a double personal foul penalty. Again, you got to be a little bit lucky, but definitely 2 calls you don't want to see as a coach.
So 4:47 to go here, 26-8.
That is actually, if that play was on Grant Harper, 79, that was his second personal foul.
All right, so first and 10 here. Right out of the shotgun, rolls out. And finds Jason Bowman, the junior receiver.
Great job by Bowman to get out of bounds and get the clock stopped.
Very heady play by him to get the yardage and to get outside, just like you said. Good play by him. So now 2nd and 7.
Yeah, so St. Joe has had to substitute Grant Harper. He is not in the game. That's a big change to bring out an offensive tackle late in the game.
And a great defensive play there by Kyle Cooper, the senior safety. He plays free safety for this defense, and he's free to look for the ball and do what he wants, and just a great defensive play. Swats that ball right out of the hands of the St. Joe Ogden receiver. Good play by him. 3rd and 7 now. Right back to pass. Right through the hands of Mason Kuhn, something he hasn't done all night. He's got those reliable hands, but on that one, just can't hold on to it.
Yeah, that's something you don't see a whole lot is a drop pass there by Mason Kuhn, especially with had enough for the first down and maybe a little bit more, so that puts him in big 4th and long right here. 4.5 left to go.
Yeah, inopportune time to have a drop like that. So instead of 1st and 10 and moving, they're now back 4th and 7 and need something here. Right again and finds Kuhn. Kuhn makes up for it, drops it last time, this time. Picks up the gain, gets to the 25-yard line. That's another Illinois Pork Producers first down.
He needed that one. He made a big play on the sideline for the first down to keep this game going and keep St. Joe in it.
And you can just see the reliability they have in the senior Kuhn, a leader of this team, a guy that they're going to go back to no matter what. He has that drop, but they have that confidence to go right back to him to make the play, and he does. So now 4:27 to go here in the game. Spartans trying to get on the board again. Right, back to pass. Hard hit as he releases the ball, incomplete. Now it's 2nd and 10.
Yeah, took a big hit on the play, but stood in the pocket, stood strong to get that ball out of his hands. St. Joe needs to give him a little bit.
Look at this here. The big boy, Sam Thorson, 6'3", defensive tackle, gets right through the line. Great football play, knocks him down, and then helps him up. That right there sums up this rivalry.
Yep, absolutely.
So right again, back to pass. This one over the heads of everyone into the end zone.
Again, Thorson was right back in his face again, making a big hit as he delivered the football.
And that's something this Unity defense just continues to rely on, is that big line, why they run the 4-3 defense. Thorson at 265 pounds. Zach Spencer at 230 pounds. Alex Eisenmenger at 200 pounds. So they're just going to come at them, and here they go again, coming at. So they were rushing right again, had him rush in the pocket, released that one maybe a little too early because of the pressure. Another incomplete pass, and now it's down to 4th and 10 with 4:14 to go.
Yeah, and what St. Joe needs to remember, you only need 10 yards. You don't need, all 25 to get in the end zone. You just need 10 to move the chains, gives you 4 more downs. So let's see what they do here. It's a big 4th down call.
It's been hard for St. Joe to get deep into territory like this, so when you're here in a spot like this, you don't want to waste it. Looks like Scott Hamilton's going to call a timeout here. So Unity's going to call a timeout. 4:14 to go in the 4th quarter. Unity up 26-8, and a pivotal 4th and 10 here for the St. Joe Ogden offense.
Yeah, it looks like Coach Hamilton just wants to talk about it a little bit more, make sure his guys are comfortable with what's going on. Because if they can get a stop here and a 1st down, this game is over. St. Joe can only stop the clock twice, so this kind of could be the ball game almost if they cannot get a 1st down, and I'm sure he's making that very, very clear to his guys in the huddle.
And for Unity to pick up a win like this, to pick up your 6th win, you lose your starting quarterback at the half, ejected from the game. And to see Bernard to play the way he did, to lead this offense and know that he has to be your starter next week. As a Unity fan, as Scott Hamilton, this community, you have to feel confident going with him, but you know what? You're feeling good going into that game knowing you've already secured your playoff berth.
Yep, and now, he's got a half a football under his belt to have a full week of practice before going out next Friday. You got to be pretty happy with the results so far. He looked very good on his offensive series in the second half.
Here we go, 4th and 10. This is the game here for St. Joe Ogden. Right, back to pass, sees the pressure, moves up in the pocket. Probably not the best decision there, way short of the first down, a turnover on downs. Unity will get the ball back here, up 26-8 with just over 4 minutes to go in this game.
Yeah, that's stuff they need to. They hold them. They can stop the clock here twice, so you expect them to take timeouts out their first and second down. If they can hold Unity to a punt, they're still in this ball game, but time is not their friend right now.
And you have to, that Wright wants that one back. Sort of almost lost himself there on the field. I mean, he knew he had the 10 yards. He saw the pocket collapsing. He wanted to get out, realized he had already passed the line of scrimmage, and all he had to do was go. But, he'd like to get that one back and maybe try and roll out and make a play.
Yeah, I think he lost sight of where the line of scrimmage was, and then by the time he looked over, he realized he was about a yard to 2 yards past it. So, tough break for St. Joe on that drive.
And they're going to bring in the big boy here, Traxler, Toby Traxler, who's a linebacker on this team. He's in here, and basically what he's here for is to just pound his way through that St. Joe Ogden defense and just watch that clock hit 000.
I am a little surprised St. Joe did not take a timeout as that play ended. They have 2 timeouts. You need to stop the clock as much as possible, and you know that Coach Hamilton and the Rockets are just going to milk this down as much as they can on the play clock. So a little surprised by that.
So that clock just continues to run here. 2nd and 7. Bernard, the handoff again to Traxler. Picks up a couple there, so it'll be 3rd and 5. St. Joe Ogden has those 2 timeouts. Skinner's not electing to use them yet.
Yeah, a little surprised by this.
All right, so 3rd and 7 now. Bernard there reading the defense.
Keeping his eyes on that play clock.
That hard count again. Back to Traxler. Traxler will pick up another 2 yards. You're not sure. We didn't see if Eckstein was hurt here. You wonder why they went away from Eckstein, and they're going with Traxler here late in the game. It's 4th and 6. They're just going to elect here to punt it, send it away. All right, Eckstein's coming back in now.
So maybe maybe a bigger back. Maybe they thought he could push the pile a little bit more. I'm just a little bit more surprised on the fact that they did not elect to use either of their 2 timeouts. And that could have saved them maybe a minute more on this clock.
High snap there. Bernard brings it down. This time he's able to get it away. Nice punt. Takes a Unity bounce. And it'll go out of bounds at the 40-yard line. So a minute 39 to go here in the game. Unity up 26-8. St. Joe Ogden will have another chance to try and score. But at this point, Adam, just a little too late.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little too late. I know the Unity sideline's getting a little bit excited. They're on their way to a big win over their rival. And now you got to really focus on week 9. But, again, being playoff eligible is what it's all about. Unity's going to get their 6th win here tonight.
And for St. Joe Ogden, obviously this season is not all lost. Obviously they need that 5th win to be playoff eligible. They go back home next week, and they have a very winnable game against Prairie Central. So here you just want to, you're going to end this game with pride.
Yeah, you're going to go down fighting. And that's what Coach Skinner kind of instills in this program. They're not going to quit. They're not going to lay down. And St. Joe could be a very dangerous 5-4 team in the 3A playoffs
Yeah, nobody wants to see St. Joe Ogden when it comes playoff time. Here, right again. This one, is this picked off?
Uh-oh. It is intercepted. They are going to give him the catch.
Wow, what a play. Let's see that one again. That sort of skipped off the hand of the receiver and fell into the hands of C.J. Parks. Parks already has an interception. This is going to be the second of his game, and it looks like this ball just parks itself right into his hands, and it doesn't hit the ground. That is an interception. Rockets get the ball back, and now we can safely say that this one is all but over.
Yeah, I would say that C.J. Parks with that pick just put the nail in the coffin, and Unity is going to win this football game.
So
best formation in football right here, Louis.
That's it.
Victory formation.
That's it. So again, not all lost here for St. Joe Ogden. They have another game next week where they can pick up that 5th win and hopefully gain enough points to make the playoffs for Unity. This is their 6th victory, so they are into the playoffs. So having Unity in the playoffs is something we say often. Scott Hamilton leading Unity to their 22nd straight postseason appearance. Just consistency and excellence from this Unity program.
Yeah, absolutely. I've witnessed Unity in the playoffs. We talked off air before the game. I don't know if having the pleasure really puts it across. I have played here against Unity way back in 2002, and they were victorious. A very good Unity program back then, and still to this day.
And Barnard will kneel for the final time, pumps his fist, raises his arms in victory, and the home crowd here in Tolono is loving it. Unity defeats their rivals tonight 26-8. The Rockets pick up their 6th win, and they are headed to the postseason. A good game here tonight. As that one fan just said, they're running. So there you have it. We have a final here from Tolono. Unity beats St. Joe Ogden 26-8. We'll be right back to wrap this one up. You're watching our Hickory River Smokehouse Saturday Night Rivals presented by Kirby Medical Center. And welcome back as we wrap up our final Hickory River Smokehouse Saturday Night Rivals presented by Kirby Medical Center. We'll check out some highlights from tonight's game. Unity defeats St. Joe Ogden 26-8 here at Hicksfield in Tolono as the Unity Rockets pick up their 6th win and find themselves in the playoffs. Here we'll start with some nice highlights by the quarterback Bernard here in the second half. Steps up here. This was his first pass when he came into the game. Find Connor Hyde there on the big play. He would get inside the 5 and then score on that. And then once they scored there, then it was all them. Yeah, we've got some highlights here, obviously, from St. Joe Ogden.
St. Joe made a valiant effort there in the second half to make this a closer ball game. Here with the halfback pass, little trick play to get them, and that was really their biggest play of the game. They had a lot of momentum, but credit Coach Hamilton and the Rockets. They just did not let them get going anytime after that and sealed this game up.
Yeah, we talked so much about Stephen Miggett and Bernard and Keaton Eckstein in this entire offense, but the defense stepped up big. That defensive line never allowed St. Joe Ogden to really get into their game plan and establish a run game, and it's the reason why St. Joe leaves this game on the losing side.
Yeah, absolutely. They didn't let St. Joe get comfortable at all, and gave them the victory here tonight. Great hats off to the Rocket offense or defensive line.
So the players here rushing together. A great scene. Unity victorious. They've already been on Saturday Night Rivals before they lost to Monticello, so they know what it feels like to lose and be on the losing side. But here they get to finish off the season on the winning side as the Rockets get the 26-8 victory. Again, as I said, they're in the playoffs now for St. Joe Ogden, still on that number 4, the number you don't want to be on, especially heading in to the final game of the season. But fortunate for them, they get to go home and play Prairie Central.
Yeah, and looking at it at 5-4, I don't think they're going to have any problem getting into the playoffs. It'll make you a little bit nervous. So their playoffs really start on Monday.
All right, so we're going to take a look at our player of the game, brought to you by Lohman Ray Insurance Solutions since 1981, and we're going to send it down to Hunter McKee with our player of the game.
Louis, thank you so much. We present our Player of the Game trophy to Keaton Eckstein. Congratulations, young man. Keaton, obviously this was a big game for you guys and sort of a must-win to get into the playoff stage. Just talk about how you guys prepared this week and how you guys fought to perform the way you performed.
Well, I mean, St. Joe week is always a big week here in the Unit 7. And, it was just kind of the normal thing, come to practice, O Fundy, O team, D Fundy, D team, and we were just preparing like we would for any other game. Obviously the mindset's a little different coming out here playing these guys. Shout out to St. Joe. Always an incredible game, always an incredible fight, but I'm proud of the way all these guys stepped up and played hard tonight.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
Louis, we're going to send it right back up to you for more.
Thanks, Hunter. Yeah, Keaton Eckstein, the player of the game, and hopefully we'll get some highlights here, but he was just incredible back there. He was reliable no matter who the quarterback was. When they changed quarterbacks, they knew Eckstein was back there to take those carries and control this game at the line of scrimmage.
He's very reliable, has the chance to bust big plays too. He's got some speed as well, and he fought for every yard here tonight. And again, he gave hats off to St. Joe because he knows they're going to play him tough, but 3 touchdowns here tonight really kind of made that game his.
Absolutely, and with Eckstein, as we said, not only on the offensive side, but he also had an interception on the defense, but here he runs in for the touchdown. But what it was is that he established that run early. He was picking up 6-7 yards right off the bat, and he just controlled this game. But now we're going to send it right back down to Hunter with the winning head coach of this game, Scott Hamilton. Hunter?
All right, Louis, thank you so much. Coach, you guys really played great. This was a big game for you guys. You won. You've got one more left. Just talk about the fight you saw on your team today.
Yeah, I think our defense played great. Offense did what they needed to do. We had a couple big plays. But, all in all, defense got some turnovers, was able to shut down the run game. And, our hats off to those guys on that side of the ball. Coach Fink and those guys did a great job getting them ready. And kids played, tackled, and execued. So real happy for that.
Okay. Coach, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Appreciate you guys
we
coming
present
out.
to you the Hickory River Saturday Night Rivals Trophy.
Great shot there, the trophy and the winning team. Scott Hamilton, all business though, but they do get the win. Their 6th win, great win tonight. And that's it for our Hickory River Saturday Night Rivals high school football season presented by Kirby Medical Center. Thank you for watching CW 23.